Hey, Billy Bob is here. Monday morning quarterback. Hope y'all can hear me. I can't hear me. But Mr. Billy Bob, give me a thumbs up. Somebody give me a thumbs up on the air if you can hear me. Oh, we got Richard Nardecki is in the house. I've known Richard almost my whole life. Tina Armstrong Book and Jakey Jake, my El Jefe, is in the house so far. We're going to get going here in just a couple minutes. We got a couple guys in the waiting. Let's get them on here. Special guests. Oh, Acoustic Larry. We actually have one. There's Acoustic. Look at you. You're in the house.
Yeah, it's dark outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've gone through that before, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah. All right. We're just waiting for, I don't see here. Yep. Just waiting for Patrick. And then we'll get rocking. How's things in Dade City?
Going pretty good. Yeah.
You got your notepad there?
Nope. Everything's been good.
We
Cooled down
passed
for a
by you
couple
on the
days.
way. I waved
Oh,
yesterday.
did you?
I,
Over top?
yeah, on the way back from the OH, driving
Yes.
through Dade City.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Patrick said, "Oh, well, should I be on at 5:55?" Ha 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 ha. Let's see. Let me see if he's messaging me to any distress calls. Huh. Oh, he doesn't even like spam because his original email that he sent me went to spam. See, we'll see if he's ready here. I mean, God, he's been off for hours doing nothing. I mean, maybe we don't need him. Maybe he doesn't add any real value. What do you think?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'll rue the day when that comes up. See, uh, oh, and Lori Jones is watching too. I forgot to mention Lori Jones. So, well, you know what? We can let's see. I'll talk about what I was going to talk about before we talk about what we're going to talk about, and then Patrick he'll get in here, and so I was going to talk about, and I actually am going to talk about my travel report on the way back from the OH. Mrs. Billy Bob and I, she drives up on her own. I fly, then we ride home together because I'm not sure we could do it both ways. Go, up and back together because she's got her own driving style. She's got, she's got her own breaks where she likes to stop. Probably not as much as me. I like to stop a little more. But anyway, so the travel report on the way home is that we left on a day earlier than we originally planned. We left on Sunday to head back because the weather was supposed to be iffy, Sunday, Monday, and wasn't quite as bad as it was supposed to be until today, actually. I think up in the Cincinnati and Cleveland, anywhere between like no further north, in the snow belt, maybe more than that. But oh, here we go. And now he's thinking of joining. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we'll toggle him in. Maybe we'll just let him sit there for a while. Yeah, we're gonna just I was just gonna let you sit there for a while. Here, lower your camera a little bit. There we go. Come on. Nose up, camera down. Yep. Do we wake you up? You can't hear us. Of course, we can't hear him because he's not saying anything. Say something, Patrick. Oh, he's out. He'll be back. Anyway, we'll wait a sec, see if he comes back. I don't want to go back and forth interrupting my story because it's important. At least it is to me. All right, we're going to try him again. We got you now, Big Daddy? No? You got your... He's got his ceiling fan on. We can't hear you. We can see you. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Give me a heads up. Thumbs up. Hear me? Thumbs up. Patrick, can't hear me. What are you doing? Oh, he's usually good at this. He's going away again. The good news is we're on all the mediums we're supposed to be on. But anyway, so we left Sunday. We left at about 7 o'clock, little 6:30, 7 o'clock. And we down 75. And when we got to just north of Knoxville, I got a couple alerts, traffic's building up, using Waze. I don't know what do you use? Do you use Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze? What do you use?
I use Apple, and I'll get warnings with them also, but it's like color coded, and the delay will be specified, but not really any audio on that.
Patrick's saying he can't fix his sound issue. Huh. Not sure what that would be. So, so you use Apple. I use Waze because, it gives me alerts. It gives me, said he doesn't know. Maybe reboot. Anyway, all right. We'll work on that as we're working on that. That's redundant, isn't it? All right. So I use Waze, and turn that sound off. So it'll tell you traffic's building up, it's building up, and then it'll say, "Oh, we got a better route for you." And typically, I don't really go with the better route, but in this case, it said it was going to save 25 minutes. Now that's a heap of time when you're only going about 5.5, 6 hours. And so I looked at Mrs. Billy Bob, like, all right, what do you think? It's telling us to get off at like Old Something Road. Old Something Road's not a highway.
Yes.
So get off. And I tell you, I heard banjos. There's a lot of winding roads, and I'm not judging, but there are a lot of 40 to 50-year-old single wides. Okay.
Yep.
For about 20 miles, probably, of winding, making a turn, winding, go over to railroad tracks, make a turn. And you got to have a lot of faith here because you don't know the area. So it's not like you could say, "Oh, yeah, I don't like this turn. I think I'm going to go this way." There is no this way, right? You've been down that, probably not with your camper.
Well, true, but yeah, once you make that call, you live with the results, right?
Right. And at one point I said to Mrs. Billy Bob, "How many turns are we going to take through?" She's like, 6, 7, 8. Okay. How many miles? Well, we eventually got to what I would call somewhat of a highway, you know, because the road actually had a shoulder. Because the windy roads, no shoulder. You're off, you're all the way off, right? So, and then we got back to 75, probably north of Cleveland, Tennessee, and it was a lot of stopping and going. But we got to where we were going, and they had cold beer, and got there just in time for the stinking Browns to blow the game wide open in the wrong direction. Um, that's another story that we talk about on the NFL time. But anyway, but then Larry, just here's a alert: the snowbird insurgency has begun,
It has. Yes,
and
it has.
so the best thing I came up with was a Johnny Cash, and I probably can't sing it, but I'm gonna do it before we get going, and I call it. This is a spoof on a Johnny Cash song. I seen every tag man, right? So for you folks
Yeah.
out there that don't know, it's a spoof on I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. So I seen every tag man, Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois. I seen every tag man, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Montana, Kentucky, New Hampshire. I seen every tag man, Jersey, Vermont, Georgia, Tennessee, Minnesota, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Texas. I seen everywhere, every tag man. That was just on the way down. So, you know, some tags I didn't see, LD, is Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, and Missouri. And Missouri is people would say, why Missouri? Well, actually, at least down where we are, we see a lot of Missouri tags. So I don't know about you up there. I know you probably see a lot of the other ones, but I don't know.
Yeah, we've got quite a
Please.
few New York and also some Ontario.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't
I
seen
forgot to
any. I
mention
haven't
we got
seen
some
any
Canadians, eh?
Quebec. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Quebecs at all yet. But I go a lot by what's in our park too.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, and we do have. I don't know. We haven't. I don't think I've seen a lot of Massachusetts. Maybe a handful.
Down here we call them mass holes. So, there is a difference though between the Ontario Canucks and the Quebec Canucks. At least my
Absolutely.
experience is the Quebeckies are a little more um, rude. We'll just say it the way it is. They're rude. So I thought Mrs. Billy Bob said, I thought they weren't coming down here this year. I thought they kept threatening not to come down here the last couple of years. Like obviously they're idle threats.
I think that's a lot like the people that keep threatening to move out of the country,
Yeah,
and they
how's that
don't
working?
go.
Oh, I
Yeah,
did. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to go there.
I
Hey,
know.
so did you? Yeah, well, I had something, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. Mike Franklin, me too. Me too. What, Mike Franklin? Me too. So, Did you get that little ditty I sent you?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
What did it look like?
well, it was a
Oh,
attachment in an email.
I think that basically I didn't get home till 5, so it was a little bit like get things put together, and I didn't do a lot of additional work, and I didn't open it. No, I didn't. So I
So
apologize for that.
when acoustic says he just got home at 5, that means he had school today. He was teaching.
I think we're getting some rain here right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think it's coming this far south. All right. Does it rain? It's making enough noise that you can hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I can hear it on the roof. Yes.
All right. Little pitter patter. So, hey, one of the first things, we're going to talk about the Buckeyes here. So, for everybody that's a Buckeye fan, yes, we're going to talk about the Buckeyes. Oh, Mike, he knows a lot about mass holes. There we go. Good job. And thanks for watching, Mike. I think he's up in the GA. He's doing a big job out in Alabama, somewhere around Tuscaloosa, I think. But um, anyway, I thought we'd touch on some of the coaching changes, and maybe I'll read some off here and get if you got any thoughts on them. Some probably not so much. Some, you know. And by the way, you probably have. I probably heard every Lane Kiffin story, both lame. I mean, from all sides. I am worn out on Lane Kiffin. But if you want to comment, you're welcome. So James Madison, Bob Chesney's out. He was 20-4 in 2 years, and he's going to UCLA.
Oh
So
my.
James, what's that? Why?
That's something.
Yeah. So now James Madison in 3 years has lost two coaches, right?
Yeah.
Kurt Signetti to Indiana, and now Bob Chesney to. So, since interesting, here's an interesting thought. Since Signetti left James Madison, and he kind of pillaged them because he took like 15 guys, right?
Yep.
So since he left and took 15 guys, the guy to replace them's 20-4. The James Madison Dukes, they're duking it out. So they almost had a chance. I'm not sure they do right now, but they almost had a chance to make it into the playoffs. Tim Beck, he's out at who cares? Coastal Carolina, who cares? Tulane, John Summerall, so he's out at Tulane, 19-7 in 2 years, but he's going to Florida.
Yes, I saw that this morning.
That was an interesting hire. I mean, the whole rumor mill is Lane Kiffin going to Florida? So I said I wouldn't bring him up, but I'm not going to bring up the LSU. South Florida. So Alex Golish is out, but he's out because he went to Auburn. So he's 23-15 in 3 years. Go ahead.
Well, and he's a Columbus native.
Right, from Dublin.
Oh, yeah, Dublin, yeah.
I think he
went to the Ohio State University.
He did. He went to the.
I believe he did. Yeah,
he did, and I think there's one year he was a GA. So Memphis, their guy Ryan Silverfield, 50-25 in 6 years. He's out. He's going to Arkansas. So apparently everybody wasn't that excited about Bobby Petrino coming back full time as a head coach. What? Mike Franklin. He said he's an Alabama fan now. They got a Russian coach in Alabama. What's he Russian for? And why would you? Who cares? You're supposed to be a Buckeye, Mike Franklin. Jeez. North Texas, Eric Morris is out, 21-15 in 3 years. I think it's probably a good job. Oklahoma State. He went to OK State. So, and then we know James Franklin. He was out at Penn State, right? At Penn State, that's a mess there. They jacked around. They probably fired him. I don't know if you could fire him too early, LD, but they might have fired him too early because the coaches weren't ready to make commitments somewhere else, and they got a lot of guys new contracts, right? Hey, I'll go with that.
Well, there's a thought that I've had for a while, and I think we're
Share it.
starting to see, I think we're starting to see the effects of NIL. I think it's taken a year or two to take effect. I think that's what we're starting to see.
And what is it?
As with three Texas teams in the top 10, uh, as in Penn State starting to, drop significantly decline, I'll say. Now, I'm not saying they aren't good, but I'm saying they aren't the prestigious team they once were. And I think it's
So
a very good possibility it's NIL money. They're
well,
not they're not getting it. I guess that's what I want to say.
is it they're not getting it or they don't know how to manage it?
And that could be the other possibility. That could be the other possibility. But like let as an example, let's see where Indiana is in another year or two.
No, I
If
agree
they're
with that.
still up at the top, it's not just coaching. They have to be getting a pipeline of players. And I just think the only way you're going to get the elite players right now is pretty much NIL. Or like Ohio State, you got the prestige and the coaching along with NIL.
So they were so Indiana, they took a bunch of guys the first year of the transfer port, the first year Signetti's there, right? Then a lot of them from JMU, James Madison, and yet they did lose their quarterback. I mean, he ran out of eligibility after last year, Curtis Rourke. But they went out and they got a guy from Cal, Fernando Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So they did get a guy to replace the guy, and he's actually better than the guy he replaced. But I
Absolutely,
agree
yeah.
with you. It will be interesting in a year or two when they have to replace a lot of guys. We don't know where they are in recruiting, the recruiting hierarchy. Which, by the way, tomorrow's signing day. In the first signing day in college football. Um, so we got Kentucky. They got a new coach. Mike Stoops was out as of a day or two ago, fired on December 1st. That would be yesterday. And Will Stein, the offensive coordinator from Oregon, is the new coach. Stoops was 82-80 in 13 years at Kentucky in the SEC. Had a couple 10-win seasons here in the last 5 years. Here's a coaching hire I really like. I don't know if you heard this one. It happened yesterday. So Jonathan Smith at Michigan State was fired on November 30th. And yesterday they hired Pat Fitzgerald, former
I
head
did hear
coach at
about that, yeah.
Northwestern. And I like Pat Fitzgerald. I think he's a tough guy. He's a good coach. And I think he's going to make Michigan State relevant again. What do you think?
Well, yes, and I know I don't want to throw all the weight of NIL money into the picture, but I think you do have to have a coach that these kids want to play for, and probably a coach that has a good reputation. And even when I compare things, look at Luke Fickle's struggles up in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Okay. Now we know from his Cincinnati record that he can coach. And we know from Cincinnati he must have been a pretty good recruiter also. So
Right.
what happened when he went to Wisconsin? I don't know, but I would lean toward NIL money or bad choices from where they spent it. I don't know.
I think part of it early on, LD, is that he had some coordinators that didn't fit. Like I think what's the guy's name? Phil Longo. His scheme didn't quite fit with the personnel or with the uh, with what was going on in Wisconsin. Let's see, Pat. Yes, Patrick says. Patrick, we got him on. We got him on comments. said Fitzgerald's a great hire for Michigan State.
So tell Patrick one time for me to get my audio back, I had to basically disconnect my earbuds and then reconnect them. You remember what happened to me that one time a
Yep.
few casts back? Because, yeah, so that's a possibility for him also on that.
All right. So maybe he heard that. He said he only got audio or video back, but he couldn't get the audio. So, Patrick, if you heard acoustic there, maybe try that. So, so Old Miss, we know who left there. I said, but they got a new guy. They promoted their defensive coordinator for not just as an interim for the playoffs, but full time. Pete Golding is promoted as their new head coach. Interesting that they didn't. I'll just say this. I don't know. Supposedly, Ole Miss would have matched LSU money wise. I will say that you could be, and this goes back to the Steve Spurrier days. One of the reasons why he left Florida, because 10-1 wasn't good enough. You either had to win a national championship. Back then it was 10-1. Now they're playing 12 games and then playoffs. But 10-1 and not making the playoffs wasn't good enough. So Spurrier went to South Carolina. He was 8-4, 9-3, doing a really good job, right? Because that's a really good job to get that done in the SEC. And they loved him. And so if you're 9-2 at Ole Miss consistently, you're probably going to be pretty well liked. If you're 10-2 at Ole Miss, or at LSU, probably not so much. If you ain't making the playoff each and every year, and maybe that's maybe he needs that challenge. We'll see. Any thought on that? Even though I said we wouldn't talk about him.
I just don't know. I would say that in many cases, it's about the lifestyle and the city you're living in. And I think by going to LSU, he's in more of a upper crust area versus Ole Miss.
You think?
I
don't know all the burbs. I don't know all the burbs, but
no,
Ole Miss,
me either. But yeah,
I think.
Well,
go ahead.
I just think that plays into it. I mean, LSU is it more prestigious? I don't know. He had a team that was going into the playoffs. So why wouldn't he ride that horse and see how far he could get them?
Well, I don't know. Lane's a nomad. He goes
he's an odd duck, and he failed in the NFL. Wasn't he Raiders for a while?
Yeah, but was he the head coach there? I guess maybe he was.
I thought he was for a super short. I think it was a very short stay. Almost like McDaniels in Denver. Like I don't even know if he made it one season.
Yep. So, see, I haven't been to Oxford. I've been near Oxford. I've driven through Baton Rouge. So I don't know about the burbs in Baton Rouge. But to me, I would think Oxford would be more of you're in and around Oxford, probably nice lifestyle, smaller town, college town. Baton Rouge, I look at as more of an oil and refinery and port city. I don't know enough about downtown Baton Rouge to know if it's would you say upper crust?
Yeah.
I see some crust. I don't know if it's upper or lower.
I don't know if I remember. I guess I don't remember my state capitals well enough. Is Baton Rouge the state capital of Louisiana?
It is.
Okay, and that might, I mean, that may have some weight in it. I don't know. I I guess if I was talking about that particular head coach, he's just reaching for the stars, and he's going to keep climbing as high as he can go. I
I'm
don't
trying
I
to
don't know
think
if
of
he'll ever be
the
satisfied.
yeah, I'm
You
trying
know,
to think of the state capital of Mississippi. Is it Jackson or is it
it might be. I think that's a really good possibility, but I'm not certain.
somebody out there? Maybe let us know. Is it Jackson in Mississippi? Which I've been to Jackson and Pearl, and that's not not every state capital is sporty. Lastly, coaching. Lastly, coaching. And this maybe is a pretty good fit for this guy, at least to get his feet back under him. And I'm wondering when and if Penn State plays Virginia Tech because James Franklin is the new head coach at Virginia Tech, um, and hired November 17th. And so
Well, and this
interesting.
brings up another point, I think we've discussed this maybe lightly at another time on another show, but uh, Heartline. A lot of times when you accept a head coach position, you've got to build your coaching tree. And the thing is if you're already an assistant or a coordinator, how many good coaches do you know that you can take with you or get to work for you when you go to a new school? And
Yeah.
I think again, as I said earlier, I think Heartline would be well represented just to stick it out where he's at now, because I really don't think I really think I see Ryan Day either going to the NFL or just flat out retiring and walking away from it in less than 5 years. That's my thoughts. It may not happen, but I don't see him being a lifer at Ohio State. You know,
I would go with the latter and say somewhere in the 3 to 5 year range.
yeah.
Not going. I just don't see him going unless I know he coached in the NFL, but coaching in the NFL as an assistant and being a head coach, it just doesn't. The odds are not in college head coach's favor to be successful. Um, so, and I don't know that that's what he wants. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows what Matt Patricia wants? He supposedly loves coaching college kids and being around them, and he seems to be building great relationships with them. But we'll see.
Well,
Heartline, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, some of these guys have to reach a point where they're comfortable in their skin. And like when the OHIO and these guys, podcast, Eric and the guys were talking about uh, the difference in Ryan Day's demeanor against the team up north this year versus previous years. I think he's finally feeling comfortable in his own skin. Okay. And clearly his confidence level was improved winning a national championship. But I think for a long time, Ryan Day was believing the Jim Harbaugh born on third base theory, and he was trying to disprove that. And he was trying so hard that he was actually working against himself. And he finally just has let himself be the coach that he is, and he is very good. And it has proven out this year. My goodness, he had, after all the guys that graduated last year, I don't know if anybody can doubt that. I'm not going to predict because I don't want to. I don't want to jinx it, but clearly Ohio State's one of the top three teams in the league. In college right now. And I'd like to say number one, and I'd like to see him stay number one. But you still got to play the games. You know, but he has proven he can recruit talent, he can improve talent, and he can maintain and sustain a team to a high degree.
So 14 guys drafted, roughly 18 to 20 guys total going to the NFL for as drafted or undrafted free agents for tryouts. Come back. He's definitely more, and I heard this the podcast guys talk about. He's a kind of adopted this CEO role or integrated. He's a different person. He's got a different philosophy. He's got really good philosophy on the 16, 17 game season, on how to manage. Some call it load management, but to manage your players, to manage your time on the field, and to work through that. And he's played more freshmen in the last couple of years because that's what the game now dictates, where he would kind of let them sit. And he's more open to integrating, and he's more open to, if a guy's not performing, bringing a guy in that he thinks is equal to or better than, and giving him a shot, I think. So at least giving him that opportunity. You got great points there. Patrick thinks if he wins another natty or two, he goes to the NFL. We'll see. Let's hope he wins another natty or two, and then we'll figure that out, right?
Yes.
We got to work on a game this week, which we'll talk about later in the week. But so we'll get to the Ohio State game. Winning with humility. Overall, I think that's Ryan Day's comments. He said he had a lot of thoughts going in. What would he say when they win or if they won? What would he say? All the different things he thought he'd say, and he left them, kind of left them on the sideline and said, "We're just going to win with humility. That's what we are. That's who we are." So, did you win with humility, Larry?
I think that he's taken Urban Meyer's team and he's transformed it into his team under his philosophy. And I'm just amazed. Okay. And clearly last year, after losing to the team up north, I was frustrated. I mean, I didn't want to see him go, but if they'd have lost to Tennessee, I'd have been okay with it, after the, team up north game. But then they won out, and that's the potential we knew that team had. But he has molded the team after himself, and they are just a very great group of dedicated kids that play very hard for each other. And that was one of the other things he mentioned. We're not playing because we hate the other team. We're playing for the love of our brothers. And I thought that was a pretty good statement right there. These guys have, I'll say, an unlimited potential still. They still haven't hit on all cylinders. They
Agreed.
Still made mistakes in that game. So just think if Sayin wouldn't have thrown that interception and team up north wouldn't have got that field goal right out of the gate. What if it had been 3-0, we go down the field and score 7? I mean, it could have been 40-6, it could have been 45-6. I don't know. So all I'm saying is we still have room for improvement, and we played very good against them, but there's still room for improvement.
Yep. What do I got going on here? I got some screen showing up on my. Well, you can't see it. I can see it. It's blocking my. So, couple thoughts, game thoughts. When is the last time that Ohio State? Oh, there we go. When is the last time Ohio State had a 20-play? I know they've had some 14 and 15, but in a crucial situation, key game, 20 plays, 81 yards, 11 minutes and 58 seconds, and they ran the ball. Did they run the ball all but one time?
I think so. And you know what I was impressed with is line play, uh, and I never, once they got on a roll there, I never doubted the fact that they would get a first down. It was like these guys are going to find a way to make it happen, and they
Yep.
just kept they were steamrolling them, and I never expected that. I don't know if the team up north lost guys to injury this year that weren't out there, but but they just steamrolled them. They really made them look weak right there on their own field. I was amazed.
It was crazy. I'm looking for one. Outside. Let me open this up here. Outside the. It was outside the locker room, is what it was called. But this is from M Live, um, a group from Ann Arbor. But this. Where is this? I'm trying to find. No, not Sonny Styles. I want to see. There's a quote from Jimmy Rolder, the linebacker for the, and let's see.
Well,
here we
while
go.
you're looking,
Jimmy Rolder.
oh, okay.
Got it. Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing
Go
that
ahead.
amazed me was I started looking through the defensive statistics, and I think the top tackles on the Buckeyes was like 5 or 6, and I thought, man, that's not very high because I was trying to see who led in tackles, and then of course when you account for the fact that team up north ran 42 plays and we ran 73, well, 42 plays. I guess 5 tackles is about one out of every 8, so that's probably pretty good, you know. And of course, time of
Yeah, so
possession you
that's
mentioned
interesting. I'll
on.
touch on that.
Okay,
Yep.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, well, the time of possession, OHIO guys were saying we were at 40 minutes and they were at 20 minutes. I mean, that
Yeah, it was
tells
40.
a tale right there.
I think it was 40 minutes and 1 second, and they were 1959, so not even quite. But anyway, the Michigan linebacker Jimmy Rolder, on the team's lack of pressure, our game plan was more coverage based, and when we did run pressures, we couldn't get home. Overall, we just couldn't get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
So there you go. That they couldn't get to. It goes to your point, Larry, of the Buckeyes offensive line did a great job. They didn't give up any sacks. There were only 4 tackles for loss overall. The Buckeyes only had 1 sack and a few. But to your point on the tackles, I looked at that too. So there were only 42 total tackles by the Buckeyes. Conversely, there were 81 tackles, and Rolder was actually the top tackler. I think he had 11 or 12, but they had 81 tackles. And there were a lot more plays that the Buckeyes ran than they would typically run. They actually did a week ago, they ran more plays. Here, what did they run? 26 and 47. So 73 plays, where they would normally run about 61 to 62 plays a game. I think that was their average for the year. So, couple things. I don't know if you had a chance. Oh, one other thing from the, a couple things. So the game, I did you really understand why Barnum didn't get ejected after he headbutt the referee? What?
One one of the things that I saw or read said it's a it's an official's judgment call. And apparently that official didn't feel like it was enough of a, I'll say, violation, or wasn't so egregious that he was going to throw him out, you know, which I not not violent enough. I guess that's a way to say it. You know, it was like a love tap. It was like a little love tap instead of really bashing him in the head. But to me, it's a matter of respect and authority. And yeah, I'd have tossed him. you know.
Well, a headbutt's a little different than like a little shiver, right? A little
Yeah,
push or a
right.
little. I mean, it's a headbutt. I was like, what in the hell did he just do? I
I
was
know.
I was amazed that it's like, and it's almost like they came out with the idea that they were going to do. They were overwired, and whatever they could do to try and goad Ohio State
Absolutely.
into a fight or a penalty. I mean,
Well,
on and on and on it went.
so the one other thing was Michigan was penalized one time for 3 yards. So
Yeah,
that must have been half the distance to the goal. It was a headbutt.
right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you know
that
what?
was
It
it.
was because it was second or third down.
Yeah,
Buckeyes were down there, and he gave them a fresh set of downs because I was like,
right. And I
for
thought now
two
they're going to
reasons it
score,
was
but they
stupid.
didn't, right?
Right.
Field goal or
Well,
field goal.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, that's a great question, Patrick. I don't know how that works. He said, how do they have 81 tackles and we only ran 73 plays? But
Punt
I don't know. I
returns,
guess
maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Kickoff
Half
and punt
tackles
returns?
and tackles,
I don't know.
maybe a half tackle plus a tackle. I don't know.
Oh, I see
I
what you mean.
I actually did see that too, so I don't know. But so Bo Jackson, his total yardage, 100 165 yards, 166 yards, and he had more yards rushing and receiving the than Two-Ton had total yards. I mean, they only had 63 yards passing, 8 of 18, 63 yards. I actually thought Bryce Underwood would get more. He got frustrated, but he didn't get mad frustrated, which I've seen him do throughout the year. Um, you know, Marshall, 7 carries, 60 yards. If he would have played longer, would he have gained more? I don't know. Those were a couple early runs. So they had 24 for 100 yards, 4.2. Um,
Yeah.
their number one freshman receiver, um, Marsh, didn't have a catch, not one catch in the game.
That who they had Iggy on?
I don't know if he was on him or if Underwood,
Matthews?
or I mean not Underwood, Hancock was on him.
Oh, Hancock. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, or maybe they had a little Lorenzo Jr. on there, but I don't know. Do you have anything else on stats that you wanted to? We didn't have a sack, but we held him right in the pocket. We had one sack. Sorry, my bad. That was the Kenyatta Jackson kind of grabbed him as he was turning, and yeah,
Well,
163 all-purpose, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like third down, third down percentage, or they Team Up North one. They succeeded one time out of 9 tries on third down. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like that just says everything. And 0 for 1 on fourth down. Uh, I don't understand. There was a lot of teams they looked not so bad or looked pretty good against. I don't understand their lack of performance in this game. I guess that's where I'm at. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised.
Well, maybe we got to ask Matty P how it went. He'll tell us.
He might have whipped up
Uh,
some magic.
yeah, we had 6 penalties, 72 yards. They had 1 for 3. So, well, by the way, they did have a holding penalty that Ryan Day
Right.
declined the penalty.
Declined it. Yeah.
So, which was interesting because it would have been like a third and 3rd and 16 or 3rd and 21, 3rd and 16, I think. And he decided to go, or 2nd and 16. He decided to go with 3rd and 6, and they stopped him. So, but 1 of 9. We've seen a couple games this year where the Buckeyes held teams to 2 and 12 on 3rd down. So, yeah, overall great stats. The Ryan Day presser today. I don't know if you had a chance. You're in school, so I don't know if you had a chance at that, but or hear any of it. I listened on the OHL podcast with Chris and Eric. But a couple interesting things come out of the presser. Ryan Day said that Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, actually came out of the game better than they went into it. So that bodes well for this upcoming weekend. He said CJ Hicks. The question was asked because the playoffs, but the playoffs don't count against your red shirt, and the plan was to redshirt CJ Hicks this year. Now, whether he wanted to be redshirted so he could enter the portal, or it was a redshirt because he's going to be a guy front and center next year because Kenyatta's gone, Caden Curry's gone, and he gives him an extra year eligibility. Don't know, but they're going to work him in. He's going to play. At least he's going to practice, and depending on how he practices, he may play in these upcoming games. And Ryan Day gave him a lot of credit for his scout team duties this week and helping them prepare for the blue. So that's CJ Hicks. Interesting development. I just figured he was maybe on the sideline and waiting to transfer, and maybe he still will transfer. We don't know.
So here's another off topic thought. Now that we have a elongated playoff structure, playoff system, why don't they put off deciding the Heisman Trophy until the playoffs are over?
I don't know.
The reason I say that is because now that we have the possibility of 4 games or a 4-game playoff system, or maybe 5, it doesn't make sense to stop at 12 when guys can really show their talent in the playoffs, especially if a quarterback, let's say, takes them on a run and they just, go right up the chain and win the national championship. And maybe the guy that gets the Heisman is on a team that lost after their first round, that kind of a thing.
Yep. So, yeah, before I weigh in on that, yes, Patrick, I did mean Jermaine Matthews Jr., not Jordan Hancock. Jordan Hancock is in the NFL. So, I got my number 7s confused. So, thank you for that. So,
Matthews almost had a pick also.
He did.
It hit him in the hands.
Yeah, bad place for a defensive back.
Yeah.
So the Heisman deal, yeah. Ryan Day was asked about it a couple different ways today, and he kind of deflected on it, because the bottom line is winning, right?
Right.
Now, the two top guys in the Heisman race are actually playing against each other this week. The two odds-on favorite, Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin. I think Julian Sayin might be a different guy than Troy Smith, but I remember when Troy Smith won the Heisman, and they said when he got to the championship game against the Gators, first of all, the Gators had really fast defensive ends, but they said Troy was on the banquet tour and he had gained 10, 15 pounds going into the championship game. And of course, I'm not going to blame Troy completely. I forgot who jumped on Ted Ginn's back and broke his ankle on the opening kickoff return. But
that was nuts.
Another story for another time. Last thing I'm going to out of the presser today was helmet communication. They lost helmet communication. They asked Julian Sayin about it, and he said, "Well, we just had to adjust on the fly. They did a great job." Sayin run over to the sideline. I mean, stamina, that's extra stamina. Guys running to the sideline, getting a play, running back to the huddle. You're managing the clock. Of course, they were at that point in the game, they were running the clock as much as possible, but still. So Ryan Day was asked about it today. This brings up a whole new controversy / conspiracy theory. Ryan Day said, we might have had an inkling that something like this could happen. So we prepared for it during the week. We talked about it. We made up some extra wristbands. We did some things and then he got asked a different way. And he said, look, you're on the road. You got to prepare for different situations. So, and then I heard the podcast boys talk about their insider Buck Vader. Apparently he had said something. And then I heard the Scoop boys, Nevada, said they had talked about, apparently there was some stuff going around that there was a potential for some shenanigans in the big house. And then I said during the game, and I never heard the answer until today. I said, well, if the Buckeyes can't hear, in the pros, when one team can't hear, the other team's got to shut their communication down. And they never talked about that during the game that I remember hearing.
Right.
But I did hear that they did, much to their displeasure, that they protested having to shut it down. So to your comment, LD, about the Heisman, Patrick says, for the same reason the CFP can't figure out the playoff seeding, the Heisman committee is antiquated. And yes, I did hear that, Patrick, that the Buckeyes supposedly asked the Big Ten to investigate the communication issue. Supposedly, there's some film of some blue personnel down near the main box or the main communication center on the Buckeyes sideline. There was some arguing going on. Why are you here? What are you doing? What's going on? So apparently there's another story that I'm not going to get into tonight, but there's another story out there that Sharon Moore, that the Blue are trying to get rid of him, and they've got some dirt that they're going to try and use as a show cause to get rid of him.
Well, he'll take that 10 or 20 or 30 million they're giving him and he'll run all the way to the bank.
Well, see if they do a show cause or a with cause, then they don't
Yeah.
have to pay him. That's what they're trying to figure out.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Oh
uh,
boy. You know what? They're really exposing themselves for a big tell-all situation if they do that.
some say it's something similar to what happened up in East Lansing a year or so ago.
Oh,
So, what did you think when Julian threw that interception?
well, I had two thoughts, but you know, I thought, well, here we go again. But the thing that disturbed me the most was I don't know how they cloaked or shielded that DB that trailed him because that guy was with him the whole way. It's like, how'd Sayan not see that guy blanketing him from underneath? The guy
Right.
just didn't show up out of thin air. It was almost like 2 years ago when McCord just decided he was going to throw to Harrison no matter what, and he let it fly. Same thing. It's like he didn't. It was like Sayan didn't make his reads correctly, and he just thought, I'm throwing it to Smith, and he cut loose with it, and there it was. You know?
Well, yeah, and Sayan's a quick release guy, see
Yes.
quick. But so, yeah, to your point of 2 years ago with McCord, I would say maybe last year, Will Howard against Penn State, right? We were down 10-0 to
Right.
Penn State. So he threw that pick six. I mean, it was like the guy was right there. Sometimes I guess they just don't see him. I don't know. So I'm just going through some, see, Arvell Reese, he was a beast. They didn't call his, I don't, he was just all over the field. Sonny Styles was all over the field. Um, Iggy
Was
played a
it?
pretty good
Was
game.
it?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Was it Arvell that made that big hit on that screen pass?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
He
or it
tattooed
was
that
either
guy.
Arvell or no. It was actually Caleb. You talk
Okay.
about like the fullback or the tight end on the coming out on the right side.
Uh,
Arvell made a big play too, but um, uh, Downs made a big play as well. So I'm
all
not sure
right.
which one could have been.
Oh, it could have been it. Yeah, it could have been it.
So Portnoy, where the hell is El Presidente? I guess he did some videos. I didn't see. He didn't. I went on his website. Um, I think he gave the Buckeyes some credit. But,
He didn't waste any time getting out of Dodge. Well, speaking of which, what was with the Fox Love Fest with the team up north? I mean, they marched everybody through there to talk that ever, spent 3 days in Ann Arbor to see what their thoughts were, you know?
you talk about the pregame.
Yeah. Yeah, they had Brady and they had Jeter, and it was like, okay, so that yeah, they did interview the guys from country band, Gary whatever,
Gary
LaBouffe or
LeVox,
whatever.
Gary LeVox, and
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Rascal Flats.
yeah, Rascal Flats. They did mention those guys for Ohio State, but my gosh, it was 40 minutes of loving on Michigan. And I thought, how many more guys can they bring in from Michigan? Excuse me for using that name. It's over now, so okay. How many more guys are they going to bring in there? I just got disgusted with it. You
Well, I
know?
guess they didn't bring in the Nature Boy, did they? Ric
Woo!
Flair. Woo!
No, they didn't.
Because he's a blue head.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't catch all that though. All that
I saw Brady and
nonsense.
Jeter. I know Aiden Hutchinson was, which they always pick a hometown guy for the guest
Yeah,
picker, but
yeah.
So I'll be honest. If they wouldn't have said it was Tom Brady at first until they got a close up of him, I would not have recognized that was Tom Brady with those goggles and his Elmer Fudd hat.
Yeah,
And,
I think that was
uh,
intentional.
maybe, yeah. But I actually, for the most part, I watched Game Day because I didn't want to hear Portnoy run his mouth, and
Oh, he
I
was
didn't
something
want to hear that.
special.
I didn't want to see that stupid ass him and Mark Ingram, Portnoy and Mark Ingram, like they did the week before when they went pressure, pressure, pressure. Oh, Ryan Day, pressure, pressure. Yeah,
Yeah.
take this pressure and shove it up your Canutiny valve.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
once Ohio State evened up with him and got that 7 points on the board, the look on Sharon Moore's face was like he knew. I mean,
Yeah,
he knew.
his face is a very telltale sign. He gets all cranked up and then when he gets behind, his face gets really like he's perplexed. Where Ryan
Yeah.
Day is always he seems to have this intensity about him. But so before we get out of here, are there any games over the weekend that intrigued you? That you had in some kind of thought on?
Well, I had mixed emotions, but I was happy to see Texas beat Texas A&M because I thought they were maybe a little too full of themselves, which I also think about our opponent coming up next week, you know. But we'll
Well,
see. We'll see what happens. Got to be on the
yeah,
field.
an interesting Texas may be the odd man out here because of some
Yeah.
of the group of five stuff and the uh, the way the ACC. I mean, you got a 7-5 team that could win the championship, which is an automatic qualifier.
Yeah.
That's probably something that's got to be changed.
Hmm.
Something got to be changed. So I don't know if you're available. I'm not sure on Saturday yet. We'll see. I'm going to see how. Not going to do a 9 in the morning. That's a little early. But I try and work around the podcast boys. I don't think they go till all the way to 12 now that they don't do a
Call in.
call in on Saturday. Maybe they go from 10 to 11, 11:30. So get with Eric. I don't like to step over them. I like them to have their. I mean, not that I couldn't like step on their toes, but that's not. Let's see. Yes, Patrick. Texas taking down A&M. Yeah. Oh yeah. And yep, LD was on top of that. You got. We'll talk about the big games later this week, but you got some interesting stuff. I'd say Texas may be on the outside looking in. Got 3 losses, but they beat some teams that might be in the playoffs. It's the way.
Yeah.
Beat Oklahoma. I don't know if Oklahoma's going to make it or not. Alabama looks like they will, but Patrick's saying Caleb Downs made one of the big hits. There was another one by Reese, but I think the biggest hit was Caleb. So, hey man, I'm going to let you go. We're going to let everybody go. We've been here an hour and 12 minutes, so they probably got all they needed to know. And if they didn't, just messages. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube for this video, Facebook and YouTube. Typically, Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, whatever. Instagram. There's another one. So, LD, appreciate you taking the time. Tell Mrs. LD thank you for sharing you.
I will.
Tell her
And thanks to the audience out there.
Yeah. Yep. As always, America, land of the free because of the brave. Brave men and women like Larry Daniels Sr., who served as a Marine in our military. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out.